Hi everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video. Today's video is a little bit late coming out. It should have actually come out in June as part of my Patreon soap design challenge, but I did struggle a little bit with getting this soap to work, but I didn't give up and I finally managed to do it. For the June soap challenge, I asked my patrons to give me ideas for a technique that they'd like to see me do here on YouTube. And the suggestion that was drawn out of the soapy jug came from Ali, who runs the Screaming Goat Soap Company. And I'll leave links to her business down in the description box so you can go and check her out. And she suggested that I do a tall and skinny shimmy. Now I was really excited to do this one because it actually has been a few years since I did this technique. And the last time, in fact the first and the last time I ever did a tall and skinny shimmy, I was actually doing it for an Australian soap challenge competition, which I actually won. So I knew I could do this technique, but I just could not get it to work. And these were my first two attempts. So that was my attempt one, and I think I ended up with more of a clamshell look than I ended up with a tall and skinny shimmy. And then this was my second attempt. Now on both of these, my fragrance oil, despite using a well-behaving oil, actually accelerated, and I think the problem was I was soaping a little bit too cool. So I have given it another go. This one was black raspberry vanilla, this was lemongrass and exotic lime. I decided to do the black raspberry vanilla again because I really wanted to do a similar top on my next soap. So today we're going to go along and we're going to see how I managed to finally do a tall and skinny shimmy using some black raspberry vanilla. Let's go. Okay, so I believe I am ready to go. I have got all of my colours all pre-mixed. We've got 7 different colours plus an 8th, which will be some black. I've got various shades of purple and pink, and I've pretty much only used 3 different colours in here plus some black. We've got like a dark purple, which I've put a bit of black in, and then dark purple by itself. I've got a little bit of raspberry mica. This was some raspberry with some black oxide. We've got some raspberry and some of the dark purple. So I have only used a couple of colours. I've got them all split out so that we can do each of our colours, and then I'm going to try and do a little bit of a in the pot pour on top of each of my layers as they go into the mould, which will all make sense once I start getting into it. So I've got my oils and my lye water. I'm going to pour them together, mix them until they just emulsify, and then split them out because I want to try and keep this a fluid mix if I can. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got my scales here. I want to be pretty precise when I measure all of these ones out. So let me start measuring. Okay, so we have got all of our colours mixed in. It's time to add in our fragrance. So I'm just going to pop in the exact amount I need. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. We're going to pour a little bit of black on the top before pouring it into our mould. Okay, so now that I've got my black and my purple in there, I'm going to grab my mold, and we want to do a bit of a wall pour. So I'm going to use these little angle feet, which I have had from Off Wickedly. I'm using the 35-degree ones. I'm going to pop our mold on there like so. Hopefully all this can be seen on the camera. And now all I'm going to do is do a wall pour. I'm going to go, or wall pour I should say. I'm going to go slow at first so we can get that black. And now I'm going to finish pouring the rest of this colour down the wall. This is one of those techniques which makes a whole lot of mess. What I'm going to do next, I was going to go that dark pink, but I think I might leave the dark pink for the top, and we'll come over to the light pink. So again, I'm going to pop it onto my scales. I'm going to measure in the fragrance I need, pour on some of that black, and then we'll flip the mold around and pour the colour in, and I will do the same for each and every one of these colours. Just decided that the 35 was probably too sharp an angle, so I'm coming down to my 25s. We've got our pink ready to go, and let's start pouring. Well, I'm very pleased to say I think that pour went really well. The only thing I don't like about doing this style of pour is that you can't scrape the pots out, so you end up with all this sort of waste. So all I'm going to do now is get all of this excess soap out of the pots onto the top here, and then we'll come back and we'll actually decorate the top of this one as well. Okay, so there is our soap so far. I'm pretty pleased with how this one is coming up. I'm really hoping I have got that Tall and Skinny Shimmy in here, but I am going to decorate the top of this soap as well, so it's not just a plain bar of soap. I have got, you can't really see in there, oh, I did have, oh no, oops. One of these bars is going to have a melt and pour raspberry splashed right into the middle of it. I need to go and grab myself another one, and I obviously need to let this set up a little bit so that the rest of them don't sink on down. Okay, so I have left this for about half an hour. I have completely cleaned up and it's finally set up enough. I was able to get that raspberry out here. It just dropped underneath the surface, so hopefully we haven't ruined, or I haven't ruined the design too much. I will tip these out away from the soap this time, and we have these little melt and pour raspberries to go on the top here. So each bar is going to get one of these. So let's pop them on. It's still a little bit soft, but I do need it that little bit softer so that we can make sure that they stick to the soap and don't fall off. Let's get all of these on, and then I have some flowers to go on the top. Okay, so there's all our little raspberries on. And then I made these little flowers. Be really careful. I made these using some soap dough. So I extruded some white soap dough. And I used this disc here, which is one of the wickedly flower ones. I then sliced them up into about 1 mil thick. I added a little yellow piece of soap dough, and then I used a cookie cutter to cut some leaves to go on behind, and I also cut some extra leaves as well. And each of these soaps will end up with a little raspberry and a little flower, and then I'll fill in some of the gaps with a few more of those leaves as well. I have done extra flowers, so we may be able to really squeeze these flowers on and make sure that the soap is nice and full of embeds. Okay, that is it. I think we're not going to squeeze any more on there. I am going to leave this one set up overnight, and then we will be back very shortly, and we'll see if we manage to get the tall and skinny shimmy on the inside. Okay, we are back to cut into the black raspberry vanilla, and that is looking promising. Maybe not the bottom bit, but coming up the sides is looking a lot more promising than what I have been getting in my previous tall and skinny shimmies. I am going to start by cutting off just the tiniest bit from off of the end, just so I can reveal. Oh, it's looking pretty good, but I might cut a bigger piece to show you first. Okay, so let's shuffle it along, and I'm cutting these into 3 centimeter pieces, so they're going to be fairly hefty bars here. We are through, and oh, look at that. So this might not be true part of a tall skinny shimmy because it has gone flat, but you can see how it starts going as we go up and we get that real sort of S shape coming down. And I love how the black just outlines each of those colors. And there is the top with this one's got a couple of flowers and the little raspberry. Really pleased with how that has turned out. So finally I managed to redo it. It's just been so frustrating because the first time I ever did this technique, it came out so good, so I was getting really frustrated that I knew I could do it, I just wasn't able to do it on this time for whatever reason. So here is another one. Really happy with how it's come out here. So Ali, I will be sending you a bar of this soap as soon as it has finished curing. I do apologize once again that it has taken so long to get this one done and out to you. This video should have been a part of the June soap design, but you know, I am calling them a challenge, so this one certainly did challenge me, but I'm really pleased that I have given it a go. And look at the wiggle in that one. Love how that has wiggled on through there. So I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me as I attempted to do my tall and skinny shimmy. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye. And for those that are wondering, these are the 2 soaps where I dropped that raspberry in. It has changed the design a little bit, but it still fits in with a whole tall skinny shimmy.